Shedeur Sanders isn't waiting quietly anymore. He's not just watching from the sidelines. He's making his case daily, both on the field and off. The arm talent, the movement, the leadership, it's all showing up in practice. And now, with the Browns spiraling behind Joe Flacco, the conversation isn't about if Sanders gets the job. It's when, from the start, Sanders has carried himself like a starter. He's outspoken about his confidence, unapologetic about his goals, and now, increasingly frustrated with being relegated to scout team duties.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
While the team stumbles in plain view, his comments haven't been reckless. They've been pointed. He believes he can outperform current NFL starters, and based on the Browns' offensive output, it's hard to argue otherwise. And now, Mary Kay Cabot, the Browns' go-to insider voice, the one who doesn't throw takes around lightly, is done waiting for change. She wants Shedeur Sanders in, and not as a backup, not as a mid-season experiment. As QB1, this isn't just noise from the media. It's a reflection of what's been boiling underneath for weeks. Flacco's subpar showing against Detroit wasn't just another loss. It was a moment the Browns' front office, coaching staff, and locker room had to confront what's been obvious for a while. The current plan is not working. Joe Flacco's last game wasn't just underwhelming. It was confirmation. The Browns' offense lacked urgency, rhythm, and any signs of innovation. The veteran presence that once offered security now feels like a weight, dragging the team into predictable, plotting possessions that end in field goals or frustration. Kevin Stefanski knows it. He won't say it directly, but his messaging has shifted. Instead of firm endorsements of Flacco, he's using words like evaluation, growth, and competition. It's coded but obvious. Shedeur Sanders is gaining ground fast. There's also pressure from above. The front office invested in Sanders for a reason. His performances on scout team haven't gone unnoticed, and the buzz from around the league is growing. Other teams are watching the situation closely, and Cleveland knows that holding Sanders back too long could cost them more than a few games. It could cost them the quarterback of their future. Inside the building, support is shifting. Coaches are privately impressed. Players see the spark. It's no longer just about long-term potential. It's about immediate upside. Flacco's leadership can only go so far when production is this low. The offense needs juice, and Sanders is built to bring it. What's unfolding now isn't a controversy. It's a countdown. The Browns are approaching a breaking point, and Shedeur Sanders is standing the edge, ready to take over. The fans want it, the team needs it, and Shedeur's made it clear. He's not here to wait. He's here to lead. The decision won't be easy. But with every week that Flacco falters, it becomes more unavoidable. And when the shift finally happens, it won't be a gamble. It'll be the Browns finally doing what they should have done weeks ago, handing the future of the franchise to the quarterback who's already acting like it. The Cleveland Browns have been flirting with a quarterback disaster all season. But after the recent embarrassment against the Detroit Lions, they might have finally crossed a line from concern into full-blown crisis. Joe Flacco, once a Super Bowl MVP and long past his prime, turned in a performance that wasn't just forgettable, it was unforgivable. The Browns' offense under Flacco has been sluggish. Mistakes have piled up. The leadership has been passive. And the confidence in his ability to turn it around, it's slipping fast. What was once framed as a steady veteran presence now looks more like a slow fade into irrelevance. Even Flacco himself has admitted that his recent performances haven't been up to standard. And when the quarterback himself is acknowledging his limitations, you know the clock is ticking. But here's where it gets even more pressing. There's already a replacement in the building. Shedeur Sanders hasn't played a regular season snap, but he's been dominating scout team reps. The reports are consistent. His arm talent, next level. His ability to throw accurately under pressure, advanced. His vision, his poise, his sidearm throws, NFL ready. Sanders has made it clear that he believes he can compete with current NFL starters. And based on how things have played out over the last few weeks, it's hard to argue he's wrong. He's shown more promise behind the scenes than Flacco has on the field. And it's not just raw talent. It's the intangibles. the things that define leadership in this league. Confidence, command, the willingness to step up and say, "Put the game in my hands." Sanders doesn't shrink from pressure. He invites it. He's outspoken. He's ambitious. And he's not shy about believing he's the guy for the job. That type of mindset is rare. And it's exactly what the Browns need right now. Because the situation in Cleveland is bigger than just one game. It's a directional crisis. The franchise has to decide whether it wants to keep clinging to the past or invest in a future that actually has upside. Sticking with Flacco might feel like the safe move, but it's also the slowest path to nowhere. The team isn't progressing. The fans aren't inspired. The locker room is watching and wondering why the most talented quarterback on the field is still wearing a scout team jersey. Kevin Stefanski hasn't committed to a change outright, but his recent comments have started to crack the door open. He's hinted, carefully, that a QB switch could come as soon as Week 5. The timeline isn't guaranteed, but the message is clear. If Flacco can't turn things around quickly, Sanders is next in line. And let's be real, this isn't about development time anymore. It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity. Sanders has already shown he's capable of leading an offense. And while no rookie walks into the NFL without learning curves, the Browns are no longer in a position to act like they have unlimited time to figure this out. The organization is shifting. There's been a clear philosophical movement toward developing younger talent. It's not just about Shedeur. Dylan Gabriel is also part of this new direction. But Sanders is a standout, the one who's created real buzz, the one who's made it impossible to ignore what he's doing in practice. And that buzz isn't just internal. Around the league, people are talking. Front offices are watching. Analysts are speculating. If the Browns don't give Sanders a shot, someone else eventually will. And the longer Cleveland waits, the more pressure they'll face to explain why they're dragging their feet while sitting on a potential franchise QB. That's the balancing act the Browns are in right now. Try to manage short-term performance while keeping their long-term goals intact. But at some point, those two tracks have to merge. And for Cleveland, that convergence is happening now. Because Flacco isn't just struggling, he's losing trust. From coaches, from players, from fans. Every missed throw, every turnover, every stalled drive just reinforces what's already apparent. His role as QB1 is hanging by a thread. Sanders, meanwhile, represents possibility. And after years of recycling quarterbacks and trying to patchwork a solution together, the Browns finally have someone with the skill set and the mindset to be more than a stopgap. The organization has already expressed dissatisfaction with Flacco's performance. That dissatisfaction is no longer theoretical, it's practical. And Mary Kay Cabot coming forward and publicly advocating for Sanders is a clear sign that the media, the fans, and even insiders are done playing it safe. The Browns' next step would define their season, and maybe more than that. This isn't just a game plan decision. It's a culture decision. It's about sending a message. That talent matters. That leadership matters. And that Cleveland is ready to move forward instead of settling for mediocre quarterback play just because it's familiar. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just making noise. He's making a case. And if the Browns don't act soon, they risk sending the wrong message to their team, their fans, and most importantly, to Sanders himself. You can't preach competition and development, then leave your most dynamic young player buried on the depth chart behind someone who isn't producing. That's how you lose locker rooms. That's how you lose seasons. And that's how you lose players who could have been the future of your franchise. The moment is here. Flacco's performance against Detroit wasn't just a bad outing. It was a turning point. It cracked the illusion that he could still carry this team. And it opened the door for the Browns to finally embrace a new chapter. One that starts with Shedeur Sanders under center. Whether that happens in Week 5 or Week 7 is still technically undecided. But let's not kid ourselves. The longer the Browns delay, the more they risk wasting valuable reps, valuable time, and valuable momentum. Because every week Sanders doesn't play is a week he's not developing in real game situations. And every week Flacco continues to struggle is another opportunity slipping away. The Browns don't just need a spark. They need a quarterback who wants it. Someone who isn't just filling a role, but leading a team. Sanders is that guy. His confidence isn't just talk. It's backed by execution, by the throws, by the reads, by the poise that coaches love and teammates rally around. The fans are ready. The locker room's watching. The front office has dropped enough hints. The coaching staff is weighing its options. But Mary Kay Cabot just said what everyone else was thinking. It's time. So what do you think? Should the Browns pull the plug on Flacco and hand the reins to Shedeur Sanders before it's too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And if you want more raw, unfiltered coverage of NFL drama, quarterback shakeups, and franchise-defining decisions, make sure you're subscribed. Because this season, we're just getting started. Let's stop pretending this isn't the most obvious quarterback transition brewing in the entire NFL right now. The Browns are sitting on a powder keg, and Joe Flacco's performance against the Lions just lit the match. At this point, keeping Shedeur Sanders on the sidelines isn't a developmental strategy. It's stalling, and excuses are running thin. Because when Mary Kay Cabot, who doesn't exactly thrive on hot takes, is publicly calling for Shedeur to start, that's not just an opinion. That's a pressure point. That's the voice of the building starting to leak through the walls. It means the whispers have turned into demands. It means the people closest to the situation see what we're all seeing. The Browns are wasting time. They're wasting reps, wasting momentum, wasting a rare moment when they actually have a QB prospect with real upside in the room. And here's the part that stings the most. This doesn't have to be complicated. The Browns are overthinking it. Flacco isn't getting better. The team isn't trending upward. And every week Sanders stays on the bench, the locker room gets more restless. The fans get more vocal, and the front office looks more disconnected from the reality on the field. Let's call it what it is. Flacco is a placeholder. Always has been. Always will be. The Browns didn't bring him in to lead a rebuild or become the face of the franchise. He was supposed to be a stopgap while the young guys developed. But here's the twist. Sanders is developing fast. Faster than expected. Faster than Flacco is declining. Which is saying a lot, considering how steep that decline looks. Scout team reps aren't just reps, they're auditions. And Sanders is winning that audition every single week. The ball velocity, the accuracy, the improvisation, the leadership, it's all showing up. And when the backup quarterback is making highlight throws during weekday walkthroughs while the starter is throwing picks on Sunday, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. Even Kevin Stefanski, who plays everything close to the vest, hasn't been able to hide the fact that a change is being considered. When he says they're evaluating all positions, that's coach speak for we're about one bad quarter away from flipping the depth chart. The message is clear. If Flacco stumbles again, the leash is gone. And here's what makes this different from your average QB controversy. This isn't about politics. It's not about managing egos. It's not about a veteran refusing to mend a new guy or a rookie being too raw. This is about performance. And right now, Sanders is outperforming Flacco where it matters. On the practice field, in the film room, and in terms of pure energy. You can't teach urgency. You can't fake hunger. Sanders brings both. He's not just looking to play, he expects to. And that expectation isn't coming from arrogance. It's coming from what he's putting on tape. From what coaches are watching every day. There's no universe in which a team sees that kind of progress and says, nah, let's stick with a guy averaging 1 touchdown and 2 turnovers a game. But the Browns are famous for making things harder than they need to be. So let's break it down. What exactly do they think they're protecting Sanders from? The pressure? He's asking for it. The speed of the game? That's what reps are for. The fear of throwing him into a chaotic situation? Newsflash, it's already chaotic. This team doesn't need more caution. It needs someone who can actually move the needle. And Sanders is that guy. What's especially wild is how fast this conversation has shifted from should Sanders get a few reps to why isn't he already starting? That tells you everything you need to know about how bad Flacco has been and how good Shedeur looks. He's not just a future option. He's a current solution. The Browns coaching staff knows it. The front office knows it. The locker room definitely knows it. But the longer they wait to make the move, the more it starts to feel like indecision is driving the bus, not strategy. And indecision in the NFL is a killer This is a league that punishes hesitation. You don't get rewarded for playing it safe. You don't get praised for slow playing a quarterback transition while the season slips away. You get fired. Or worse, you get remembered as the team that had the guy and didn't play him. Do the Browns really want to be that team? Because here's what's coming. If they stick with Flacco and lose again, the narrative will shift from Flacco struggling to Cleveland is wasting Shedeur. That's a headline you cannot afford. Especially not when the fan base is already tired of half measures and long-term plans that never deliver. This isn't a rebuild year where patience makes sense. This is a season that's still salvageable. If they act now, Sanders doesn't need to be perfect. He just needs to be competent. And based on everything coming out of camp and practice, he already is. More than that, he's poised, confident, competitive, all the traits that matter at the quarterback position. Yes, there will be growing pains. He'll miss a read. He'll get picked. That's part of it. But those mistakes will come with upside, with learning, with plays that Flacco simply can't make anymore. And let's not overlook the bigger organizational context. The Browns have shifted toward developing young quarterbacks. That's not speculation, it's happening. Dylan Gabriel is another name floating in the background, but right now, Sanders is front and center. He's the one making headlines. He's the one everyone's watching. So why not give him the keys? What are the Browns actually holding on to with Flacco? Familiarity? Reputation? A hunch that he might figure it out? That's not leadership. That's fear. And fear is what gets teams stuck. It's what keeps promising players on the bench until they've lost their edge. It's what drives coaching staffs to protect themselves instead of empowering their talent. It's what creates fractures in locker rooms when guys know the wrong person is leading the offense. That's where Cleveland is right now, on the edge of that exact spiral. They can step back from it. They can course correct. But they gotta stop pretending this is about experience or system knowledge or veteran savvy. Because at this point, Shedeur Sanders gives them something Flacco can't. Hope. Real, tangible hope that the quarterback of the future might already be here. Not in theory. Not on draft boards. Now, there's a reason Sanders has caught the attention of the league without even playing it down. He's not just talented. He's vocal. He's fearless. He believes he's better than guys already starting, and he's not wrong. So, if you're the Browns, what do you really have to lose? Stick with Flacco and lose another winnable game? Watch the offense stagnate? Let morale plummet? Or take the risk, throw Sanders in, and light a fire under a team that desperately needs direction? The fan base isn't just ready for the switch. They're demanding it. The locker room isn't just noticing the difference in performance. They're living it. And the media just turned up the heat. Mary Kay Cabot drawing that line is no small thing. It's a signal. The narrative has shifted, and now the Browns either get ahead of it or get buried by it. Because if Sanders isn't under center by week 5, and Flacco tanks another game, the story won't be about quarterback controversy. It'll be about the Browns blowing it again. And that's a storyline nobody in Cleveland can afford to see repeated. Your move, Cleveland. Are you going to hand the future over to the guy earning it every week in practice? Or are you going to double down on a pass that clearly isn't working? This drama isn't happening in a vacuum. The entire league is watching. Across the NFL, front offices are already murmuring about Shedeur Sanders. Not just because of the name, but because of the tape. Yes, even his scout team reps are drawing attention. The footwork, the timing, the mechanics. He's not out there winging it like a rookie trying to prove he belongs. He's running plays like he knows he does. And when someone like Mary Kay Cabot, who's not in the business of making wild demands for clicks, goes public and says Shedeur should be QB1, that's not noise. That's pressure. That's a signal. It means people inside the building are already thinking it. It means the tide is turning, faster than the Browns might be ready for. So why hesitate? Why are we still hearing the same quotes from the coaching staff? We're evaluating everything. We believe in all our guys. We'll make the best decision for the team. At some point, that kind of language doesn't sound strategic. It sounds scared, because the longer the team waits to make this move, the more it looks like they're afraid of the spotlight, that comes with it. And yes, giving Shedeur Sanders the keys is a high-profile move. The media is going to jump on it. Fans will dissect every snap. Every throw will be a headline. But guess what? That's what starting quarterbacks deal with. That's part of the job. And Shedeur isn't the type to shy away from it. The man is built for this moment. He's confident, he's vocal, and he's not afraid to bet on himself. Publicly. If anything, he's already playing mind games with the rest of the league by saying he can outperform starters right now. That's not cockiness. That's competitive drive. And when your backup has more fire, more hunger, and, let's be real, more upside than your starter, what are you even waiting for? You're not evaluating at that point. You're stalling. Joe Flacco has had his chance. No one's denying what he accomplished in the past. But this is a now league. And right now, he's hurting the Browns more than he's helping. You can see it in the play calling. Stefanski doesn't trust him to stretch the field. You can see it in the offense's tempo or lack thereof. You can see it in Flacco's face on the sideline, like a man who knows his time is almost up. And yet, the coaching staff keeps giving him the ball like something magical is going to happen. It won't, because this is what it looks like when a quarterback hits the end of the road, and the team refuses to admit it. The playbook gets smaller. The drives get shorter. The excuses get longer. And meanwhile, you've got Shedeur on the sideline watching all of it. Quietly, for now. But let's not forget, he's not some wide-eyed rookie just happy to be here. This is someone who believes he can lead this team now. Someone who has voiced that belief publicly. Someone who's earned respect from teammates, coaches, and analysts alike, without even taking a regular season snap. And every minute he stays on the bench while Flacco underdelivers only adds to the tension. It adds to the questions in the locker room. It adds to the disconnect between what fans are seeing and what the coaching staff is doing. It adds to the pressure on Stefanski, who's suddenly being viewed not as a problem solver, but as someone avoiding a solution. That's the cost of indecision. And it's why the Browns are approaching a breaking point, not just on the field, but within their entire quarterback philosophy. Because this isn't just about replacing a struggling starter. It's about what kind of organization the Browns want to be. Are they reactive or proactive? Do they make changes when it's obvious? Or do they wait until it's too late? Are they afraid of noise? Or do they lean into bold moves when the time calls for it? The Shedeur question forces them to pick a side. And the right side is obvious. Start him. Let him take over. Give the locker room something. Someone to rally behind. Because even if he has a rocky start, at least the Browns will finally be building something instead of just patching up the wreckage from the week before. Flacco had his run. It's over. It's Shedeur time. So let's hear it. Should the Browns finally bench Flacco and give the job to Sanders? Or is this still too early to pull the trigger? Let us know in the comments. And if you're living for every second of this quarterback drama, subscribe right now, because the Browns are about to make a franchise-defining decision, and you don't want to miss what happens next.